I think it's impossible for football players and coaches to be able to differentiate between one game and another. You go into a game as a football player and a coach, and you think, I have to win this game. And the idea that you prioritise in your mind, oh, this game's more important, or that, it's impossible to do. I think that obviously we've rotated the squad in the last few weeks to try and make sure that we've got everybody fit. There were a couple of players who didn't take part on Thursday evening because they had slight problems. Niggles, really, they were on the bench, but they had problems that were small, but I didn't want to risk them. So I think that we've got 4, 5, 6 players who can come in and play tomorrow who are fresh. And I don't think I can differentiate between the importance of each match. I think that the fans wouldn't allow that. Tomorrow we have to win. It's a local derby. And then we have to approach it in that way. I don't know any other way of approaching it, to be honest with you. Yeah, we have to keep clean sheets. It's something that we talk about all the time. I was actually at the game. I'm trying to think when it was now. Was it in October, November? I think the game was against Levante. I was actually at the first game. Came over here to see Phil. It was a difficult game. If you remember the first half of that game, it was difficult. So I think that obviously the second half, Valencia played very well. But you're right, we have to keep clean sheets. This next week, it has to be one of the biggest priorities in the games to keep clean sheets, because obviously when you keep clean sheets, you're in with a fantastic opportunity to win the match, because I always fancy us to score a goal. So, yeah, tomorrow would be a good starting point to do that. And, keeping concentration and defending well is the base of any football team, any good football team, and we have to start keeping clean sheets. I think their importance in football, if you look at, I think it's 35% of all goals are scored from them, so it's not as if it's insignificant. In fact, it's very significant, and I think obviously from our point of view, it's something that we're working very hard on, and we're concentrating very hard on, because obviously I think if you take out the set piece goals that we've conceded since I came, we probably would have had about another 12 to 15 points. We've conceded a lot of goals from set pieces, and it's something we have to correct, because obviously factors like organisation, determination and things like this are important on set pieces. I think we've got the capability to defend well on set pieces, but we've just been struggling a little bit, and we need to improve in that part of the game. I've said that. I've been very honest with you on this. That I think a lot of the games would have been very different if we'd defended set pieces well. So we have to really concentrate now on this, because it's harming us. We're playing well in games, we're fighting hard in games, but then a set piece can decide a game, and we need to make sure we get this right now. The agreement that I had when I came that I would go. We've been obviously looking at this over the last 2 weeks in planning between us as the coaches, a coaching staff. I think we have 8 players left behind that will train. And we have obviously Paco, Angulo, Phil to be able to coach them. When all the players return from international duty on the Wednesday morning, I will be back to prepare for the game against Las Palmas. It's something that was pre-agreed before I came. I know it's not ideal in the sense that it was something that obviously part of the agreement for me coming here was that this happened, because obviously I had a contract previously. I think because we have 8 players here and we have 3 coaches, we are in a good position to be able to cover the players that are here, and I'm comfortable that we won't be in any way, shape or form a lack of preparation for the Las Palmas game, because obviously all the players return. I think 10 players return on the Wednesday, and I'll be back with them to prepare as we do 3-4 days before for each match. So whilst not ideal, I think that it's something that everyone's known about from day one, and we have obviously good coaches here to be able to take care of the 8 players who are left behind. It might be 9 players. Please don't hold me to 8. It might be 9. We don't know whether we've not got all the final selection through yet for all the countries. I'm very aware of the rivalry. Like I said, I came to the first game between the clubs this season, and obviously watched the build up to the game and understood the pressure on the game because of the local rivalry, and understand the synergy in the city between the 2 clubs. So no, I'm very aware of it. Obviously, we have some local boys obviously in our squad as well who are obviously aware of it a lot more than I am. But I think it's important in games like this that we play with our heads and not our heart. I think I've played in many local derbies before myself, and I think it's important that we forget what's happening externally with the crowd and the build up to the game with the media. And I think we have to focus on our game and play the match. But I'm very aware of the rivalry and the importance of the match to the fans, to the local people in the city. He's getting better. I've just spoken to Enzo now, actually. About 5 minutes ago. He's certainly getting better. He's in the gym working hard. He won't be in the squad tomorrow. He won't be on the list. Jose Gaya, is very much a doubt for tomorrow as well. But we'll see how he is in terms of him after Thursday night. I'm trying to think of anybody else on the injury side of things that might be struggling. I think we're okay apart from that. Obviously, the longer term ones like Denis Cheryshev, Bakali won't be here. But I think apart from that, we're okay. Santos obviously won't be available. But I think generally we're okay. I think that Enzo won't be in tomorrow, but he's getting better. And I think for Thursday night, I'm hopeful, but we'll have to see how he is Monday, Tuesday. I think we would need him to train, obviously Tuesday, Wednesday for such a big game to be ready. I think in terms of Jose, obviously he's had this sort of problem that's been managed now for the last couple of months. And against Bilbao on Thursday night, we in the game, obviously it was very difficult conditions. It's actually a problem that I've had myself during my career, so I'm very aware of it, and it just needs careful management. He trained this morning, he's not got a problem, but it's just a case of managing the situation. Yes, he'll be fine for Thursday evening against Bilbao. In terms of Levante, I think they have some very direct players up front, the two centre forwards. The left-sided player is strong, cuts in on his right foot. But I think that from our point of view, we've done a very detailed video this morning with the players in terms of the strengths and weaknesses. I don't want to go into too much detail of what they are, but we're comfortable that we it's the same in every single game. Every team has some strengths, and we have to deal with those tomorrow and exploit the weaknesses that they have. And in terms of Levante, obviously, from my point of view, it's not in our control. All we can do is play against them tomorrow, and whether they stay up or not is in their control and what they do for the remaining part of the season. But we've got to focus on Valencia and do everything we can to win the match tomorrow and not worry about our opponents and what situation they're in. No. I think we have a well-behaved bunch of players. That's one thing. What I would say in the Soso Figuli incident versus Atletico Madrid, obviously we have people watching up in the stand. The message came down that it wasn't actually a penalty to me. So maybe the players on that particular incident had a better view than I did. At the time, I just thought it looked like a tackle from the wrong angle. It looked like a tackle from the back, and it looked like to me it was a penalty. But I actually got told by our analysts and coaches up in the stand that it wasn't a penalty, that it was a fair tackle. And I actually said sorry to the fourth official. I said, sorry, I've just been told it's not a free kick. So I think that we are an honest bunch of people. I think against Bilbao, I said very, very strongly that it was a penalty against Andre Gomez, and the handball was also a penalty for me. But I think overall that you can argue against decisions when they go for you and don't go for you. But from my point of view, you're never going to change the referee's mind. And the foul, the conditions in Bilbao on Thursday night. You can change the referee's mind?
Not that decision, but the next decision maybe.
Well, you're telling me something. You're telling me something that I don't want to get involved in. From my point of view, of course, I appeal for decisions. And I think my players appeal for decisions when they feel as though it's a penalty. But maybe on the Soso Figuli one, they knew that it wasn't a penalty because I was told after it wasn't. In terms of Thursday night, the conditions were incredible. Every tackle could have been a free kick, and the referee had such a difficult job. I don't think it's a problem, this, in terms of, pressurising referees. I see where you're coming from, but we've just got to play football well. We can't use these types of reasons or excuses as being ones that are really valid.